Yo, welcome. I am knackered, in case you can't tell. And where's G Develop? There's no G Develop today because we're done. Game's done. Look at this. Look at this little guy right here. You can get this little guy in the description. You go to itch.io on the link on the description and you can download the Windows version. And you can just install it, double click it, and the game's done. Full release, version 1, 1.0. Look at that. Custom loading, retro game logic logo, made with G Develop 5. Mennonite. It is done. Ugh. Man, I am tired. There is nothing to explain. Let me just lower the volume. Look, there's options. How cool! There's options. Okay, I can hear myself again. I know, I know, it's so egocentrical. But look, there's options. You can do stuff. And by the way, I'm using a controller. Yeah, there's my controller. There's the credits. All credits go to me because I made everything. And that's me, Bruno Melo. I'm Portuguese. And music composed by Miguel Angel. Alright, Miguel's awesome. He's the guy that did the soundtrack for Tiny Rogues. I think all of it. Well, most of it at least. He's awesome. He's amazing. He's on Fiverr. As soon as I saw it, I was like, he's doing my soundtrack. But anyways, let's play. 3 modes. Let's do Hero. I'm yet to do Hero mode. The story is still the same. I've been told by a couple of people that it is long. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got carried away writing, and then it's like, but I want to say more. I'm not an artist. I'm not a writer. I'm not much of anything, really. I'm just some retiree guy in a tiny little bedroom. Okay? Cut me some slack. Yeah, it's the same story. You get asked for help. You get sent to the armor. Also, I'm not doing full screen. You can do. You do Z. Full screen. Ta-da. And then X to go back. But I have no peripheral vision. I'm legally blind. And this is so much nicer for me to play. Also, for the people who complained a lot, if you're on the keyboard, you get keyboard controls. If you're on a gamepad, you get gamepad controls. I mean, those are keyboard arrows, but you can translate, right? And if you're on mobile, you get the same gamepad layout, right? So there you go. Everything's like neatly displayed. And man, Mennonite's done. I'm so happy. It's like I am so tired. It's like I was so excited. I've been working nonstop for a month. Like this game was made in a month. I just checked and it was like 1 month, 1.5 weeks or something like that. You can see it. I mean, it's quite literally here on YouTube. The first episode of the beginner's guide, whatever, the first guide I did. I was like, I'm going to make a game, and I'll turn it into a guide, right? I'll show people that they can make their own game, their own stuff. They don't need to download. You can draw all your stuff, right? That was the idea. And I was like, I'm going to make it into videos. It's one of the first videos I did. And, yeah, so you can see the date. You can literally see the date it was made on. I didn't even have the webcam on. So you could literally see it on my desktop right there on the bottom. Like you can see you can't see it because I'm in the way. But right there in the corner, you can see the date, the second it was made. And it was finished today, right? And I'm posting this video today, so do the math. Just don't ask me to do it. I'm bad at math. But yeah, so you can see it exactly when the game was created. It is like a month. Right? And I've been getting so much praise. Right? I'm not bragging. Uh, not exactly bragging, but it's more like I got so much praise from people leaving the feedback going, "Oh my god, your game's so amazing." One guy actually said like, "Oh, this is the very first game I played on GDevelop that actually feels like it's made by a professional studio." Because, all the parts are in place, right? All you need is a little polish, right? To make a game feel good. And so I was a little curious. And I was like, there's no way. I mean, my little game is nothing special, right? It's just a little platformer. So I started looking at GDevelop. Right? I started looking at the other games. And no, I am not going to start ripping on other games. No, far from it, right? You make your games awesome. More games, the better, right? Free games are always amazing. My childhood was games, and I hope games get everywhere, right? But, that said, there was a lot of scuffed stuff that was just heartbreaking. Come on! Full games, like cool games. On GDevelop, they were just so scuffed. I was looking at them, it's like, my god, if the guy who made this game spent like a day just polishing this game, it would feel like a million times better. And then I was like, oh, I get it, right? Because most of the time I go OCD about stuff, right? I mean, look, everything has feedback. Everything my character does has feedback. He leaves little trails everywhere. Everything he does, like, everything he grabs. Oh, you can't grab that one. There's the explosions, the circles, the fades. All that stuff is because I don't know. I go crazy with that stuff. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear loud bikes because it's hot and my window's open and I'm not closing it. Let's all live with it. But yeah, so I'm not ripping on people. I'm just like, come on. If you go through the effort of making a game, of making a fully featured game, like, you clearly had the vision and you clearly had the effort to put in it, right? You had all the right ideas. God damn it. You had all the right ideas. So just go the extra step, for crying out loud. That's what makes games feel really good, right? It's all the feedback. It's the way you connect with the games. Like, if there's no connection between the player and the game, it feels meh, right? That's the reason why I hate playing on mobile. Because I can't feel the buttons on the screen, right? I hate it. I hate mobile games so much because of that reason. Right? Because I can't feel the buttons. I can never feel it. It's like, ugh. It feels like touching air, right? Anyways. So, this guy, I thought he was like super easy. I was like, this is a cool like first boss, right? And then it's like watching people who are like platformally challenged fight this little guy. It's like, oh. I actually had to make him a bit slower. Because to some people, this is a piece of cake. To other people, it's like, this is a beast. This is the final boss right here. I don't know. Mostly talking about my little cousin. I hope she doesn't see this. But yeah. Man, finish your games, for crying out loud. Stop making like tiny little... Look at that. I love that death animation so much. And now you get a life and fully heals you. Yeah, go the rest of the distance. Finish your games. There's so many games on GDevelop Games that they're like 50% done, right? It's a full game, but if you just finished it, man, do the last steps. Do the polishing. It sucks. A lot of it is boring. Yesterday, I was like nearly bored to tears was doing some of this like really boring, like copy pasting stuff, and it's just like, oh god, how do I fight this? How do I stay awake? And but yeah, but once you're done, it's like, oh, it feels so good. Once you start looking at your game and like everything's connecting, and everything has a place, and everything has feedback, it just feels so much better. It feels polished. It feels like a finished product. Like, for example, my eyes are really bad, right? But even I could tell that there was something there when I was pushing the crate. It felt like the... do I need a heart? No, I don't. Felt like the camera was stuttering a little bit. I'm gonna see if it was just me or if it was actually happening. But I obsess over little details like that. Kinda. It's a little stutter, right? And the reason why it does that, it's because I think it's in an awkward speed for the smooth camera or something like that. It has to... I had changed the speed of the crate. I made it a bit faster. Maybe I need to make it a little bit faster as well. No. I think it's fine. I don't know. See, I'm already obsessed. It's like, the game's done. Leave it. The game's done. Leave it. If you need to update it, do it later with a big update and do an expansion or something. But I'm still sweating the small stuff. And I always thought that that's what made a good game good, right? I mean, I keep bringing up... oh, God. You know what? I think I'm going to die here if I don't just do this. There we go. It's over. I keep bringing up, like, Link to the Past. Like Zelda. And there's just so much detail in that game, right? It's like every little thing does a thing. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like all the good games. Every time I started a new game, I always check the small stuff. I always check like the little details. And every time a game had all the little details, it always made me so happy. It's like, because you could tell that someone put a lot of love into it. It's the same thing with G-Develop. Like G-Develop itself, every time I notice a little detail like that, it always makes me happy. Like, for example, the other day, I finally read what it said when you save your project. You hit the save button, right? And then there's a little message on the bottom. And I never noticed what it was. I was just like, oh, it probably just says file saved or whatever, right? And the other day, I was like, what does this say, actually? And it says something like, your file or your game or your project has been properly saved. Or something like that. It's like a sentence, right? It's not just this, like, really cold... oh, God. Can't buy anything. I just wasted the bomb. It's not this, like, really cold, no feel kind of, you know, project saved. You know, like a machine. Like, file has been stored. You must build additional pylons. It's not something like that, right? It's like, oh, your file has been properly saved. Or something like that. I don't know. It's just the word properly. It made me feel so secure. I was like, oh, thank you. It's been properly saved. Thank you so much. And every time you're working on G-Develop, there's little things like that. Every time I picked something new... oh, I think it's 19. Never mind. I was going to go buy an extra sword. But every time I'm like, oh, I wonder what this does, right? I look at a new condition or a new action. I'm like, oh, man, I wonder what this does. And there's always a description on top, right? It's always a good description. Oh. Ah, dang it. I wasn't paying attention. It's always a usable description, right? It's like someone's talking to me. So it's like, oh yeah, if you pick this, it does this. And by the way, this thing is really good in conjunction with this other thing that does this other thing. And I'm like, oh wow, thank you, software. This feels so good. You know? You told me two things. One that I wanted and one that I didn't know that I wanted, but I did. And there's so many little details like that on GDevelop. And that's, I don't know, that's where you can see like the heart and soul of stuff. It's like when people are really connected to the stuff that they're making, right? And yeah, I always notice that stuff in games. Always, always. Even like big games like Warcraft, or like World of Warcraft or whatever. I remember the first time I played World of Warcraft, the very first thing I did was like check all the animations and check all the little details and see all the little like particle effects and stuff. To see, you know, oh, is it just fading in, or like everything's like fading out and stuff, or is it just like cutting off, right? Because I was so jaded by all these like free MMOs. These MMORPGs that were just like so incredibly scuffed, man. And it was good RPGs as well. Like, man, I remember one that was like Florenzia or something like that. And I remember playing it. It was like, this is cool. It was like, this is really cool concepts. And you had like shipbuilding and so on. And when it came out, it was like, I don't know, it was really awesome. But then the details, man, it was so awful. Like the animation of the characters, they didn't like loop properly. They just cut off and jump like 10 frames. Yeah, you had the special effects would just like show up out of nowhere. No fade ins, no fade outs, no smoothness whatsoever. It was just so rough. It would just like show up and be gone the next frame. It's so jarring. And there's so much of it that was just like that. And all I could think was, they spent millions making this. Like literal millions, right? It's gotta be, right? Because at that point, next-gen games were really expensive to make. But then, with all of that money and all of those resources and all that time, they didn't bother polishing the game and go, hey, you know what, guys? We spend a bunch of money. Let's take like a week and polish all of this stuff, like, and make it really, really good. And they went, nah, it's good enough to make money. Let's just put it out. Man, I hate that so much. It's not even like ripping on stuff like that, right? Because it's still games, right? And someone put love into it, right? There's some poor developer or artist that put a lot of work into it. It's just circumstances, right? But the worst thing is that it's just heartbreaking. It really does break my heart when I see like, man, you've put in so much work. Why couldn't you finish? Why couldn't you go the extra step? Stop that. And it's the same thing with like the opposite, right? Not the opposite. It's when people, even though they polish the game, they don't bother finishing it, right? Ooh, I need to be careful. It's always one way or the other, right? It's either like it's a really big game with no polish, or a really polished, like, one stage game that was never finished. Mostly for like a game jam or something like that. I don't know. Just finish your stuff. Honestly, just that's the best. If you're still listening to me ramble on about this kind of stuff, and you're a game developer and you have like 50 projects, just pick one. Just pick one and bring it all the way to the end. right? Just pick your favorite one and just work on it until it's actually done, and then you stick your seal of approval on it. All right, it's gonna feel so much better. And this brings back to one of the things that I said on the very first episode of, you know, what became making Mana Knight. And that is, if you're able to finish a game, you're 90... Well, I'm pulling this statistic out of my butt, right? But you're like 90% ahead of everybody else. Because most people, they just do like a little game, a little 2-stage game or whatever, and they call it quits. Or they never finish it. It's so rare to see like a finished project. That if you take... And it doesn't even take that long. Look at Mana Knight. This took me a month. Honestly, I went back and I was like, how long was this? Because it feels like I've been working on this for ages, right? I was like, no, it was like a month ago that I started. I was like, really? Just a month. So it doesn't even take that long, man. I mean, granted, it's not like some massive Lord of the Rings epic, right? It's just a little guy. Oh no! Oh wait, I have lives! I forgot, I gave myself lives. Yeah, not gave myself. I gave the player the ability to get lives. I was like, oh my god, it's hardcore mode. I forgot I got rid of that. It's no longer hardcore. So you actually get... I mean, it starts out hardcore, but you get the ability to get lives, right? You got the ability. You have the ability? There we go. I know English. At least some words. Stop playing like a dimwit. Alright, just one more. Survive one more. Ah. But yeah. So it doesn't even take that long. But it was also pointed out to me when I was like, dude, you know, in a month, I made a complete game. Yes, it's a simple platformer, whatever. It's still a complete game and fully polished and featured and all that stuff, right? It's complete. And someone did point it out to me that this is basically my job. I mean, I don't have a job. This is a hobby. But I am a retiree, right? Because I'm living off a disability pension because of being blind. Legally blind. I have more than 90% disability. And so I don't really have a job to go to, and I can do this stuff all day, right? I can work on my games all day. So someone did point out that, well, for them is a hobby, for you is a job, right? And yeah, but even if it was a hobby, and you could take like a couple of hours a day to work on your game, I don't know, you could finish it. Stop making the excuses. Uh-oh. Don't die. Don't waste your lives. A lot of this, I see like parallels between this and music. It's kind of like the... how everybody says like they want to learn to play the guitar. And then no one actually... Like, everyone learns how to play, but... God dang it. Everyone learns how to play, but then they never make music with it. What the heck? Come on. What are you doing? There we go. Yeah, it's so everyone has a guitar. Everyone learns how to play the guitar. And then nobody... I say nobody, right? I'm exaggerating. But they don't actually make music with it. You know, they learn how to play a scale really fast. And they go up and down the scale, whatever. They put a jam track and they jam to it. Just ripping on some random scale. But then there's no musicality. No one like stops and makes music or whatever, unless you're like some sort of YouTuber or an actual musician. Yeah. And I always had that mentality. It's just like, it doesn't matter. Like when I teach people how to play the guitar, it's always the learn 2 chords, right? Learn 2 chords if you have to. If that's all you can do is 2 chords, awesome. Then use the 2 chords that you have and write a song. Oh, I'm so bad at this. If you need an extra color, learn an extra chord. Then you have 3 chords. Man, there's like billions of songs with 3 chords. And use your 3 chords and make a song. This is basically the same thing, man. You know how to play, you know how to make a game. You have so many tools to make a game. Just make a game. Don't go searching for 1,000 different assets. There seems to be an error. I just noticed. Let me zoom in. I know, it does. It does have an outline. I was like, why do the numbers not have an outline? It's like they do. It's just really thin. Also, oh my god, I got 72 coins. Where do we want to go with this? Let's go the wussy way. Let's upgrade that. There. Stop rambling. I've been rambling for like half an hour. Sorry. This is one of my favorite tracks. Yeah, coming up to the end, man. Mennonite is done. Let's go, final boss. I love this track as well. You know what? We can do this! Haha! Let's crank it up. Let's crank up the music. Wait, there you go. One of my favorite tracks. Let's go. Need to add a compressor to this part though. It's a bit louder than everything else. Oh, dude. Ah. I was indecisive. Undecided, I meant. Let's go, last one. Easy mode. And down he goes. Oh man. That was hero mode. Oh, I love this track as well. Does this count as Mennonite's world's first speedrun? And there we go, the end. So, Mennonite, it's out, fully featured, version 1. dude, check the description for the desktop version. You can play it for free on GDevelop. You can pray. You can get the. You can pray. You can pray. No, stop that. You can play the desktop version for free as well. You can just download it on an itch. None of this costs money. If you'd like to support the channel, support me, there's a donation link. You can donate on itch. All that stuff. But yeah, that was Meta Knight. It is done. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I'm really happy. This is done. I'm gonna start thinking about the next one, which is gonna be a cool one. It's gonna be this top-down RPG thing. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. I just been talking out of my butt for like an hour. Or like half an hour. Or however long this is. Alright, anyways. Try out Meta Knight. Leave a like if you liked. Subscribe. All that jazz. And I'll catch you guys next episode. Right? Till then. Peace out, guys. It's done! It's over! It is complete! Peace out!